Ooh, that looks tasty.
The Hungry Gamer is back with another game review, and today we're talking about Abducktion from Evan and Josh's very special game company, and designed by Evan and Josh, and art by Alina Litvinova. And I do apologize for mispronouncing that name, and I will also point out that this particular copy did come with the expansion as well. And thank you to the publisher for sending me this copy of the game so I can make this video. Before I get started, please make sure you turn on your Klingon subtitles, because if I make any mistakes in the rules overview, that's where you'll find the corrections. Now what this game is this is a quick puzzle game where you are trying to abduct these ducks. Well, I guess you already have abducted the ducks and you put them into your space UFO pool, and you're trying to get the ducks happy enough to where they are in these specific patterns, and when they're in those patterns, you'll be able to gain points. And you'll have a set number of cards, 12 of these each game, though I do have the whole stack just sitting right here, and when the stack runs, and then when all of the cards run out, then the game will end. Whoever has the most points will win. Now, before I go any further, I will show you how the expansion works in just a moment, but I do want to point out that the expansion comes with this little sideboard here, and all of these green glittery ducks, which are called, wait for it, glitter ducks. And the glitter ducks are, one, awesome, and two, they are wild, so they represent any color. Now, if you are not interested in how this game is played, so we'll jump into my final thoughts, then you want to go to the timestamp on the screen right now. So what's going to happen is, as I mentioned, you're trying to get these patterns, and how you read these patterns, let me move this spaceship out of the way, because it is casting an odd shadow, and how you read these patterns are, it's simply saying for this one you need to have the same color duck in this pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that would do it. Or 1, 2, 3, 4 would also do it. Or this longer one would be here, 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 here. Or because I have this sideboard, I could be here, 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 here. As you can see, that's how it works. I will also point out that the expansion comes with cards like this that you can see actually require you to have this other spot, this other sideboard, into a very specific spot so you can gain that specific pattern. Now, I know what you're thinking. How on earth can I possibly do such a crazy thing? It seems impossible. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are not completely ducked. It is possible, because what you have is you will have 3 of these action cards. And what these action cards are going to do are manipulate the ducks on your board. So for example, if for example I chose to play this orbit, I can start rotating ducks around. And so let's say I chose to do this. Rotate these ducks like so. I would then discard my orbit card. And lo and behold, as you can see, I have now accomplished this card. As you can see, I have 2 pink and 2 blue, thus matching this symbol. So I would take this card, and these ducks would then get discarded off my board, and then all the ducks would swim on around like so. Then I would go to the spaceship, and I would pull ducks out one at a time and place them back onto the board. Then I could keep on going and trying to get these various patterns. So perhaps I would play a swap here, where I could swap 2 ducks that are next to each other, so maybe I do this right here. And then for my 3rd card, I'm going to play the shapeshifter. And so now I'm going to rearrange these 3 ducks here, and I'm going to rearrange them like so. And now I have accomplished this here because I have white, 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 white. Remember, glitter ducks are wild. And I've accomplished these. They'll come off the board. I take this card here, and all my ducks will swim on around. And then I would get my new ducks. And then at this point, if you're counting, I'm out of cards, so then I would simply draw from the deck 3 new cards, and my turn is over. Now the other thing that I just need to point out is how you deal with this here. It's very simple. You can discard any card that you want, and then that allows you to move this spot to another place anywhere around your board, like so, or like so, etc., etc. And that's pretty much how this game works. You're simply going to go around and around, everyone taking turns until all of the cards in the deck are dealt out and claimed, and when that is done, the game ends. Whoever has the most points wins. So, what do I like about this game? The first thing is, it is adorable. The little ducks are amazing. The UFO little shaker duck holder thing is awesome, and perhaps most amazing is the art on the cards. It's just all around a fantastic, fantastic production, even down to the insert that actually has space to hold the box of the expansion if you want to add that in there. It's just wonderfully, wonderfully done. And of course, a special call out to the glitter ducks that come in the expansion. Those are probably my favorite. So all around, it's just an amazing, amazing production. And it even takes some of the kind of fun and kind of whimsy and silliness of the game and actually inserts it into the rule book as well, as there's little bits of fluff text that are thrown in there. Really, really well done. But to the game itself is actually a pretty darn clever game for something that you can play in 20 minutes. And the reason it works is because there's just enough different colors of ducks and enough different patterns that you never feel like you're more than a couple of moves away from completing a pattern, and that keeps you always kind of excited and ready to keep trying and figure things out. But at the same time, because you're never going to have more than 3 cards, you're not going to get to go on huge, crazy runs of like solving all these different cards at once. Every once in a while, you'll get an amazingly lucky pull, and even when you do, that feels kind of exciting and fun rather than bad, and that goes back to because it's such a quick game. So I think all of it really comes together into a very satisfying and fun puzzle game that is just such a great one to break out. I also think that it does a very good job of being exceedingly accessible with just the core game. But for the people who want a little bit more, that's what the expansion gives you. It gives you a little bit more as far as rules heft goes, but the amount of additional options that gives you with the little movable board is extreme. So all around, I think it's just a really fun, light, cute, delightful game that is fantastic to kind of introduce people to who are just looking for something simple, or maybe you're curious about games, or even for the type of group that loves games like Parks or Wingspan. That weight game, this is a little bit lighter than those, but just kind of falls right into that, and that's really the kind of group that I think would really enjoy this. So what are my quibbles with the game? Well, the first one is, obviously, this is a very light game. This is the lightest end of the hobby game that a hobby gamer might ever want. Though, do remember, I said it's pretty darn fun. Next thing I'm going to say is, it plays up to a high player count, but there can be some serious downtime in between turns at max player count. And that's because you can't even really plan for what you're going to do in between turns, because odds are the board state is going to change significantly. If there are 3 people in between me and my next turn, odds are the 3 cards that are out there are going to be gone. It's really not until the turn right before you that you get to stop and really consider, okay, what should I start thinking about going for? Because odds are one of those cards will still be left for you. And that doesn't even take into account the somewhat kind of mean things that you can do to each other, where I can have one of your ducks abducted and then suddenly stop you from potentially getting something, which also again changes your board state. Which brings me to the next thing. There are some cards that are kind of mean. It allows you to mess with someone else's board, stop what they've gotten maybe halfway to doing, and that might be something that you find frustrating. But really, that's it. I think this is, for a game that I didn't know about until I was suddenly seeing it all over Facebook, I think it's a really delightful game. It's a very fun little puzzle game, and I find it very, very satisfying as one that you can play just as a filler, or you can play 3 times in a row and actually kind of make an evening out of it, which is something that my wife and I have actually done, played several times in a row, and suddenly we find we've played for an hour and 20 minutes. But there you have it, folks. That is Abducktion. This is, as I said, a game for the people who are kind of interested in getting into games, people who really like a little bit kind of brain-burning puzzles usually, and this one's kind of a little bit of a step back, it's a little bit of a lighter brain burn that you're going to get, or for people who just really enjoy lighter games. Again, the Wingspan, Parks, that weight of game, you're probably going to enjoy this one. So there you have it, folks. As always, if I made any mistakes in the rules overview, please let me know in the comments with the timestamp so I can get that in the Klingon subtitles. If you found this video useful, please like, subscribe, share, maybe become a channel member. As always, thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.